cut from a different cloth. Now, joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
Was poppin'. Oh, hold on.
What is?
Wait. Moose, talk for a little bit. Why didn't
Yo,
you tell me
what
my
is?
audio was crazy?
I didn't even know it was. But what's
Oh,
up,
man.
y'all? Welcome to the live show. I don't know if we're streaming to only YouTube or not. Typically, Nicky does the intros, but you know the vibes, man. Welcome to the YouTube show. Welcome to the live show. Happy Tuesday. Happy New Year. This probably be the last time that we say that. But thanks for tapping in with us, man. Got a really special show. I'm excited for that. If you have not already heard, but you should have by now. Should have heard by now. We had the live new episode, first episode of the year with the one and only Wall Street Trapper, man. Phenomenal episode. And what a freaking way to kick off the new year. So if you haven't already listened or haven't tuned in, I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this one. It's rare that we get, well, not rare, but it's like scattered. Typically somebody will be like, oh, this was my favorite episode out of all of them. But the favorite episodes out of all of them came in early this time. I'm talking about, shout out to Isaiah. Isaiah sent that in before the episode went live. Obviously he has early access to help us edit and all that. But he was like, oh, this is the best one. And I'm like, man, we got the best one episode a couple of times on this one, and it hasn't even been a full day. So go check that out, man. It's going to be really helpful, especially if you're someone who's in the process of building your brand or recently built and just wanting, practical ways, tangible ways to really build this thing and scale it or get it situated. So yeah, check that out.
All right, I'm back. Here we go. Thank you, Moose. Wait, where'd you go? Oh, no.
Yeah, on the spot.
Anyways, so just like how Moose said, y'all better share this episode because a whole over hour, like we were thinking about cutting it.
We went heavy this time in terms of time wise.
We were thinking about cutting it for 2 parts, but it was just so good. We just left it all the way there, and people are already on like their second spin on it. They're like, yo, I'm gonna listen to it again and again. I'm like, oh snap! I gotta shout out to Aaron. Aaron hit me up like, yo, thank you for this one. I said, no problem. So
shout out to the man Aaron, bro. He's a awesome brother, man. Aaron, if you're listening to this, man, we appreciate you, bro. Thanks for what you do. Thanks for who you are, first and foremost. And secondary, what you do and contribute is definitely appreciated. But yeah, I commented on Trap's page like, hey, I was there and I might have to play this one back. Like I was there in the flesh and I might need to run this one back just to experience it from a different lens.
No, these are facts. These are like, I get amazed and I'm looking over the different clips and everything like that. We actually have one premiering right after this live, so make sure you stay after the live. It's going to premiere. Oh man, what was the topic? Oh, how to create content. Hello, how to create content. The Wall Street Trapper way. You know what I mean?
The Wall Street Trapper way.
Yeah, the Wall Street Trapper way. So once again, salute to Wall Street Trapper. That was an amazing interview, and it seems like you guys are loving it and sharing it and all that great stuff. So please continue to do that. We could officially say, and this is probably going to be one of the last days that I say is Happy New Year.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I said the same thing.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
That's hilarious.
I just, did my part. Happy New Year. Moose, real quick, fast in a hurry.
Yeah.
One goal that seems impossible that you are going to do this year?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the one that I fear the most.
Oh, okay. That works.
And it's a personal goal. It has nothing to do with like anything business or brand related. The one I fear the most, and I want it so bad, but I'm literally like scared even when I look at it. It's
It's a Rolex.
nah. You know how I am. Unless a Rolex is gifted to me, I gotta get something that's probably more expensive and no one knows about it. I'm gonna just be honest. Like if it's gonna be on that, it's gonna be the what is that?
I want a Jacob watch.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? It's gotta be something like that.
I want a
It's
Jacob
gonna
watch.
be. It's gonna be. So it's gonna be. Yeah. It's gonna be. But my scary goal, man, is getting my aviation license. Not the big like Jedi, crazy thing, but I think I wanted to be a pilot when I was younger. That's
Yeah.
like a real life
I remember
story.
that.
Yeah. And that kind of like took me down like a crazy little scenario. So I kind of let that dream go, but I'm fascinated with the idea of planes, aviation, flying. And I always used to joke around with my dad, God rest his soul, of course, like, oh yeah, he wanted to fly a plane. And I was like, I'm going to fly a plane. So I think starting that process, I don't know how long it is. I don't know what it's like. I know it's possible, but if anybody has some insight on that, please let your boy know. But I'm putting it down there like a personal goal for the year, man, is to at least edge close to, flying on my own, like up there in the air doing what pilots do.
Wow. Okay.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, not at all.
Yeah. I have it on my list.
Wow. All right. Okay. Oh, all right. Wow. I don't even have anything to say. Moose, what are we talking about today?
No. Hold on. You got to give us your goal first. You got to give us yours first.
Just say
You got to do
Yo,
yours
but
first.
why did you look like why did you look like Theo Juan with a beverage? Like, no, Mija, no,
Mija,
damn,
you
you've
gotta
been
do
chilling with your
it.
wife way too much.
Oh, I mean, I'm officially, at least a third Latin right now, specifically doing
Okay.
it. Probably, yeah.
Okay, but yeah, you sounded like only Theo right there. Like, no, Mija, no, you
Ranging
cannot.
from back to my baseball days to my lovely spouse now. Yeah, it's official. It's safe to say about a third Latin. I'm just being real. Anyway.
I think for me, it's going to be one of those years as far as
You mean M like million?
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. That's the goal. That's the goal. I saw the numbers of last year. I was like, I didn't do that bad, right?
Wow.
I didn't do that bad. I thought it was gonna be bad. I was like, I didn't do that bad. If I go a certain amount, it's possible with the different businesses and different content situations that I got going on right now.
Talk that boss talk real quick. Yeah, talk about that boss talk with different businesses real quick.
Yeah, no,
That boss talk.
very possible. And then, just a lot of things going on. A lot of things, and happy about it. Just happy about it. You know what I mean?
Love it. I love it. Hey, well, we rooting for you, me included. Get that Millie. Get that
Just
Millie.
saying.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
Absolutely.
But what we talking about, Moose?
On that note, man, it's a new year. I think Trap raised the bar for us, and I was like, all right. Well, not raise the bar, but set the standard, because we got pretty high expectations of ourselves. But set the standard, like set the tempo for the new year. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come correct. So I've been telling you I invested in some new, equipment. So, I came through with my notes. I don't know if you can see it. My notes for the live. I was like, let me do a little something different. Let me set it off right. Like I'm kind of feeling all right, and I don't want to jinx myself. Knock on wood. Prayfully, we stay here for a while because man, is it long overdue. Mental health is real, y'all. I mean, take care of yourselves out there. Seriously. Just
Talk
put it out
about
there.
it.
However, I wanted to kind of like do something a little bit more tangible, a little bit more practical to start the year. And I
Okay.
was like, well, let's take care of money first. Because
Yeah.
although money is not the most important, you do live a different kind of lifestyle when you have access to revenue and you don't have cash flow problems or payroll problems or how am I going to pay my rent problems or any of those types of problems, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I just thought about it and I was like, well, I think a good topic to start off the year, this is our first official live of 2022. I was like, well, let's tackle the concept how to grow your business in 2022. Now, of
Right.
course, there's going to be a large element of branding that's tied to this, some business tactics to it, and some personal tactics. Because, Tuesday, we at least devote a portion of that to touch on the person behind the personal brand. We got to coin that phrase somehow because we say it quite a bit on this. So if you hear it anywhere else, just know it came from our live show first. We touch on the person behind the personal brand because if you ain't right, not much that you touch will be right, at least to its fullest potential.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I started doing some research and this really was a surprise to me. Like I'm not even trying to hype it up because of, the show or whatnot, but I found that nearly 1 million businesses start every year. And I was like, dang, 1 million new businesses enter the marketplace every year. Now, I
Right.
bet they all have dreams of financial freedom.
Yes.
They all have dreams of impacting the world.
Yes.
They all have dreams of time management and big following and millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars. Like they all have those dreams. But if we're not counting the businesses that are currently alive or those that have come before it, if you're starting this year or you've started in the last 1 or 2 years, simply put, what are you doing to make sure you stand out and to actually grow amongst the million, right? And I'm not trying to look at it from a competition standpoint, but I'm just saying, how are you standing out? Like, what are you doing to actually grow and develop, right? So I have a couple of points and I want us to kind of kick it off. So the first one is know the difference between innovation and a duplication type business model. And here's what I mean by that, right? Innovation, a lot of people think they are innovating something that has never been touched or created, but it's very rare. To give you some examples of innovation, to some extent, Netflix was innovation, right? Because they were the first real streaming platform to come to life. All right, so think of the first ever to type stuff like Henry Ford with the car innovation, right? Like it's got to be a first ever for it to be true innovation. Now you can provide the first ever to a already standing business, but you help them to do something the first ever, whether that be in a new way, a new design, like something new, right? That's innovation. In that territory, you're almost given the green light to walk blind a little bit, meaning that it's okay to walk without absolute structure because you're going in uncharted territory. But again, for many of us, and I'm not trying to be negative or pessimistic about people who are starting new, I'm just kind of just use it as a challenge, bare minimum. Many of us, however, will fall in the duplication model, meaning that we're trying to bring to life something that already exists to some capacity. However, our uniqueness makes it different. Your personality makes it different. The way you do it makes it different. Maybe you're more efficient, that makes it different, right? The way you're able to teach or take someone through, that makes it different. Maybe you have a competitive pricing advantage, meaning that the way you develop a product, you have some connections maybe overseas, and so your labor costs are lower, and so you can deliver a product of the same essence of a Nike, but maybe for a fraction of the price. So you're duplicating something that already exists, but it's at a different price point. So, yep, that makes it different, right? Now, at the end of the day, though, it already exists. So in that standpoint, you have to really put down the groundwork. Like, it is not exceptional this year if you're starting a business, thinking about starting a business, even thinking about growing your business because you've had it for a few years, to teach without trying. That's kind of like my really first main thing. A lot of us, because we're seeing the informational era explode with everyone with courses and masterclass, and let me teach you how to do this, I'm telling you, there is a tremendous difference. If you want to really grow your business this year, don't rush to teach. Try first. Rush to try. Rush to try it yourself. Rush to prove out your model and your concept. Rush to really bring something to the marketplace that can survive, that's tried and true, that's tested, right? And when you figure out the kinks, then you can go teach on that one specific thing. Because remember, the goal, after all, is not to be here for a season. You can have one six-figure year. Heck, you could have $1 million year. But if you only have one of them, are you really successful after all?
That's good.
So we want to take it a little bit differently. So Nix, I wanted to start there, but definitely just give me your take overall. Like, how do you feel about, a million new business a year? What are some things, or at least on that point, that you can maybe add to, or let's just discuss it out loud around how do we grow in 2022 if there are 1 million new businesses alone entering on average?
I think I don't necessarily get caught up in that stat because I don't feel like everybody's going to make it. Right? So just in where we are, it has been more championed to have your own. Even on this podcast and on the show, we speak about ownership and having your own business of some sort. So there's a lot of people, and I don't mean this in any kind of mean way, but there's a lot of people who are starting businesses that has no business starting one. But because everybody else is doing it, let me create this. Let me do that. Let me do this. And that's cool, because I do believe everybody should try something. But to hear that a million businesses or companies have start every year, that doesn't mean in December they're still here. That doesn't even mean in even 2 years they're still here. Right? So I would actually love the stat of failure rather than necessarily how many begins, because I could start a marathon. I ain't gonna finish that. Not at all.
I know that percentage is deep, right? It's like I don't know, crazy. They say within 5 years, 80 or 90% of businesses fail. So we kind of know, but I just felt like that we know about.
Yeah.
But we've never talked about, how many are so even if you're saying that, you're saying that 800,000 businesses are failing within 5 years. Like, just the number sounds different. You know what I'm saying? Like, that many people are entering this crazy world of entrepreneurship and are not making it out on the other side. So I'm like, man, that's a different type of situation. You're talking about 1 million new businesses starting a year on average, and I don't want to talk about the failure, but dang, 80% of them are not surviving past 5 years. So again, it has to really put you in perspective and say, what are you doing to grow your business? And more importantly, stand out. So it's like there's more of a secret sauce that goes into it instead of just simply winging it and saying, yep, I'm just going to build off of my uniqueness. No, uniqueness is good. We like uniqueness, but can you add another element to it? Can you add an element that will help you to scale, have more longevity? Heck, have a great delivery or delivery on promise or like return on investment for your clients and your customers so that they can say, okay, this is not just a hobby. Like this person is actually good or a professional or an expert at what they do. So it's like, I just want to challenge our people to do more than just simply say, hey, I got my LLC. That's good.
Yeah.
But what are we doing beyond that?
I think, hold on. I think the thing is starting to act up again. Of course. God, just work with me. I'm not COVID no more. You know what I mean? I'm negative out in these streets. Just work with me one time for the one time. Okay, here we go. I think we're good. So, yeah, it says we're freezing. Let's see if it works. Okay, ask it one more time. I was taking care of that. Go.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, what are we doing to grow? What are we doing to stand out in 2022? Knowing that there's this many people going at the, entering the marketplace. Can we do something different? Can we just can we go beyond just a pretty look? Like anything. I think there are some ways to make it happen.
Yeah. It always goes back to what are you doing different? Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? Like, and the thing is, like, we start a business based off, not everybody, but some start a business based off what they've seen, right? And you kind of made a difference. Like there's some that are creating something brand new, and there's some that are doing things in the same lane, but their personality or what makes them unique kind of, makes them stand out, right?
Yeah.
So like how you said, you have to figure out what you are first and then hone in on that. Like, don't really, like, we can, as we've said before, we can get inspired all day by those who've done it before us, whether it's products, whether it's services, whether it's content, whether it's whatever it is, right? We can get inspired all day, but it goes back to, and I'll bring a Kobe thing because I had to do this for one of the pieces of content where it's more of like you analyze and you practice again, you implement it and you repeat it, right? You take what you need if you're really trying to make this work and you're really trying to figure out, how do I stand out? How do I continue it not to be just a year run, 2-year run, 3-year run? Like, what are we adding into our toolbox every single day, every single week, every single month? What are we adding to our toolbox? Because some people are just settled with what they've already experienced and what they have right there, right? It's working. They don't need to add anything new. But what makes us different is the unique toolbox that we have. And we could pull out any type of tool compared to anybody else. And what I mean by that is if we have to show more personality, we can. If we got to come out with, an exclusive item or something, we can. If, a podcast needs to be done in this particular industry or in this niche, we can. Like, what are you learning that is, whether current or forward thinking, that is going to allow you to last a little bit longer based off what you've read, what you've analyzed, right? And then you try it in your own kind of vibe. You put it in your business, and you just continue to repeat and repeat and repeat. So, like, I feel like a unique toolbox is definitely something that can help.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. Yeah, I feel like when we have the wrong definition of success, and I've kind of been big on this even as of late. For those of you who may have listened to anything I may have shared, say probably more so like 2 years ago, even 3 years ago, I was big on this idea of like understanding how the mind works, right? And the subconscious mind and all that stuff, and like bringing to life things that have lied dormant, we've slept on, or have just not really realized what it is to its fullest potential. Some of that are just basic assumptions or blanket grouping ideas around what success is, what failure is, what fear is, what confidence is, right? So some of those blanket statements usually come from your assumptions. And as cliche as it sounds, you already know what they say about assumptions, right? They don't leave you nothing, right? So when you explore a little bit more, you get a little bit more clear about what success is. It's not shiny objects. It's not followers or likes. Like, there's more to it. So I even love what you shared yesterday on our community call, right? When you said, do you want just followers?
Yeah.
Because not all followers are good.
Talk about it.
Right? You know, like, I think that was a brilliant answer, because again, we're not saying followers are bad. We're not saying, we're definitely saying, hey, you need to be on social media. It's incredibly important. But when you make the goal followers, you can have 1 million followers and not make $1. It is possible. You know, like, there has to be more to it. So I think even I'll add to that and say, like, just circling back and revisiting, like, what is my definition of success? How do I measure success within my business? How am I measuring success within my business this year? That's a question you should be asking. You know, like, what are the metrics? And I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. What's the boring stuff? Yeah, we might just want to spend a couple minutes on this part right here. Like, just ask yourself, what's the boring stuff? Because if you can lock in on the boring stuff, 90% of the time, that is the biggest difference maker in your business. Because here's the worst place to be, is to experience a little bit of success. Because a little bit of success is the biggest threat to your progress and your growth. You get a little bit of success. You get a couple people buying. You get a couple people watching. You get a couple people tapped in. You get a couple people commenting and believing in what you're doing. And you're like, oh, I'm successful. Oh, I don't got to do the basics anymore. I don't got to do the boring stuff that I was doing before, the outlines and the strategy and the budgeting and the projections and the content creation and the posting schedule. You stop doing the boring stuff. And then before you know it, you're going to see kind of your stuff hit like a little plateau. It's like, oh, what happened? Yeah. Oh, you stopped doing the boring stuff because that's not fun. You know, so like, we probably on like number 5. We said 3, but it's maybe number 5 now if anyone is taking note. But seriously, if your business is going to grow in 2022, and I'm talking about online brand, offline brand, product brand, service brand, just make sure you keep up and you stay consistent with the boring stuff, because that's going to turn the dial for you.
Yeah, I agree. Like, for me, one of the boring stuff is doing a to-do list all day. That's boring to me. Like,
oh, that's boring.
I got to write it out every single day. I got to check and then erase it and do it again. Like, I don't want to, and literally, it's like right here, people. Hold on. Right there. To-do list all day. Still got a few things to do. Slight plug. Get a Rocketbook. NickyMoose.com/Rocketbook. It's erasable. Okay? It's an erasable notebook. But anyways, slight plug. But I realized once I started really concentrating on the to-do list, everything from like, what are the goals? What's the month look like? What's the week look like? What's the day look like? Right? Things started to happen. Like, you get a clearer picture, right? And though I don't like doing it because it takes me time to write and I hate writing. But when I don't do it and I go just off, just the head, I'm going all different places. I'm getting some things done, not everything done. I remember later. And I could probably give that to somebody like, here's what I need. Write it out. Let me know. Boom, boom. But for me, until I could master the to-do list on a consistent basis, I can't give that up just yet. Like, there's certain levels that I still need to do in order to get to the next.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Let me jump to number 2, just because I'm looking at the time and I want to kind of leave room for the discussion to develop too. But another point that I've been like a big fan of, right? And I think definitely at some point, everyone in our generation or our era right now is big on investing
yes,
or making their money work for them or
yes,
looking for ways to scale their value and their time, meaning that they're not simply just trading time for money, but they're able to duplicate and multi-X their talents, what they
right,
do, again, from every level. So one of the things that I came into this year was, instead of just simply trying to train somebody else or
mm-hmm.
simply hiring someone to work with me, I thought about what it would look like to have a community-based business model,
Mm-hmm.
right? And a community-based business model is simply looking for people to partner with who you already know. Keyword, you already know these people. They're lying dormant in your phone book. They're lying dormant in your DMs. They're lying dormant in your text messages, right? Like, you already know them.
Mm-hmm.
You just have, again, blindly made a label or an association. Oh, this person is only that. I don't need them for that, so I'm not going to think about them or consider them as important, worthy, or not worthy. It's a little hard, but like, oh, I don't really need them for my own growth.
Right.
But if you take a different lens and say, okay, how can I use a community-based approach to help grow my business? You'll start to see that there are people who you can partner with, and instead of just simply offering what you do to your client base, your customer base, the marketplace, you can group your talents together and bring a unique offer to the marketplace. So I know you talked about sticking out, standing out, doing something different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in addition to that, not just personality based, but if I can group my talent, and this is something that you all did recently. I'm doing it in a different area right now, but again, try, don't teach, right? Try first, then teach. So
Yeah.
using that same model,
Yeah.
you group people's talents together, your offer becomes that much more attractive because it can feel to the customer that it's a more complete service.
Yeah.
It's a more complete concept. It's more thought out. It's a one-stop shop. It gives you the credibility of the people that you partner with. It gives you their credibility. It may even give you access and an opportunity to exchange client list.
Mm-hmm.
They meet your clients, their clients meet you, right? Like, it's an exchange. And if we really take this mentality of, okay, let me stop trying to run things on my own or want to be the only person. Matter of fact, can I think about ways for me to help the other million businesses that are starting this year? Can I help them by not just providing a service to them, but can I help them by partnering with them? Can I find something unique about their talents or their services or something that can help me? So it's really using that model instead of just simply looking at them as competition. And I really feel, Nicky, that is going to be one of the biggest, if done correctly, one of the biggest moves to help people grow, because it's not just a collab. Like, I want to talk about just the difference between what I'm saying, a community-based business model, and a simple collab.
Right.
A simple collab is, hey, you want to do a podcast episode with us?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah, I'll go on your podcast. You come on mine. Whoop-de-whoop, we're done. Community-based business model, we're actually going into partnership. We might consider creating a separate company, a separate LLC that houses both of our services together. And we kind of outline, okay, what's the difference between stuff that I do on my own and the stuff that we do together, so there's no conflict of interest. Those are some questions to talk about. Hey, how does your expertise complement my expertise to give us a unique stance in the marketplace? And don't get caught up in the fact that some of these words sound fancy. It's just simply looking for ways to make yourself stand out, but not for the benefit of you solely, for the benefit of the collective, that we use that community model. I love that community model. I love the each one teach one mentality. And instead of us going up against each other or never really considering people who are in our network, this is a great time to do it too. Like I dropped a message to our coaches in the community. I said, hey, it's very easy to reconnect with people right now. The new year is making it very easy to touch base. Hey, just touching base. We got some of those emails. I want to set up 6 calls with you to show you how I can help you in the first quarter. I'm like, wow, not 1, 6. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, it's just so easy. It's such a layup. But what gets in our way? Who gets in our way? We get in our way.
Right.
Right. And I said it on, I don't know if it was the last episode or the last week's live. Don't look at everyone as a threat. Mm-hmm. When your immediate response to somebody in the marketplace, somebody trying to connect, somebody, anything, your immediate response to them is, oh, this person is a potential threat. And by the way, this coming from a very skeptical person. I am ultra skeptical. Jeez. And in some ways it's helped, but I've kind of maxed out what skepticism of other people can do for me. It's like I protected myself to the best I can. At this point, I need to be a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more optimistic about what can we do as a collective, right? As a community, you know what I'm saying? Like as that kind of model. So yeah, just throwing some stuff together out there, Nicky, but just like to sum it all up, don't leverage people, leverage results. All right, so I'm not just trying to take advantage of the person. I'm leveraging the results that we can create as a collective.
So how do you avoid leveraging people?
So, and I think there's a lot of things that you and I see eye to eye on. Probably the only one that we don't see eye to eye on, and it's probably because it's a talent that you have and one that I lack. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was funny, kind of. Anyway, the one that
What?
Yeah, I feel so good. I feel so good. So
you going in today? I'm just enjoying. I'm taking notes on my Rocketbook. Nicky,
yeah, thanks for tuning in to
Moose.com/Rocketbook.
Yeah, thanks for taking it to. Thanks for tuning in to Nicky and Moose, man. Thanks for tuning in to Nicky and Moose. Go watch our episode that just aired today, episode 67?
66.
66, featuring the one and only Wall Street Trapper. But the one thing that I don't fully agree with you on is this idea of, or maybe it's just my relationship with the word, but manipulating people in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Because my stance on it is you only have to manipulate when you can empower, or when the person you're trying to reach isn't empowered by what you're offering. So you're forced to kind of find ways to, whatever the case may be. So if you can do a good enough job of leveraging your results, and that's why, again, each one of these is kind of building off to the one after it. If you can do a good enough job where you start with principle one, you understand if you're innovating something or you're creating a duplicate model so that you can really make it, put the pieces in place that matter. And you try before you teach. You test before you teach on your own stuff.
Right.
You're going to establish a level of credibility in the marketplace that when people come to you and connect with you, they're going to want to make sure they're adding enough value to you, not the other way around. So like I saw someone in the chat and said, how do you make sure, and I'm just paraphrasing because the comment is further up, how do you make sure you're not getting the short end of the stick? Like when you do that.
Right.
Well, and I'm not saying you're doing this. I don't know you enough to know that, whomever wrote that comment, but I'm saying I like to take the approach of, man, what could I have done differently? What could I have done better to create a better outcome for myself in this situation? So when I think about it through that lens, immediately I start to take blame away from other people and I become better myself. Just that mentality, that perspective shift puts the emphasis back on me to think about, what can I do better? Can I be more efficient? Can I be more to the point? Can I not take things so personally? Can I be more patient? Right? These are all things that sometimes some of us naturally have, others of us don't have. But if not deployed at the right time, you'll start to see that your shortcomings are a result of, or a lack thereof, from being able to put those traits and characteristics in place. So in short, I take that approach to make sure I'm getting better throughout every scenario that I come into. And I've just seen it happen and happen time again. On a call today, literally, this partnership would be worth a lifetime of, and God willing it happens, right? If it unfolds the right way, this would be amazing. It would be truly beneficial for like generations to come kind of thing. And I'm looking at it like, man, I gotta really like put my stamp into this. Like I gotta put my foot into this to let them know like I'm coming to play, like I mean business, I'm willing to contribute and grow and develop the whole nine. And at the end of the call, the person on the other end of the line said, hey, give us some time to really think through this because we wanna make sure we bring value to you, or we bring enough value to you. And I'm like, wow, take it however you want to take it, but bare minimum, you've done enough work in those people's lives, at least in the industry, so that people are now looking at it as an opportunity to work with you. Not just like, oh yeah, like I see how this can be benefit, but they're like, no, this is an opportunity to work with you.
Right.
So for me, I was just like, yep, that's the part. You leverage the result and not the people.
I like that. I want to address something real quick because AP said you only have to manipulate when you can empower, and that's a perspective. That's an opinion. However, let's look at the definition of manipulation or to manipulate.
Yeah, talk about
right,
it.
And it means handle or control, typically in a skillful manner. So the thing is, we take it in a negative way because of how people manipulate, right? So we instantly go, can't do it, woo woo. But it's handling something in a skillful manner. Now, have I been manipulated in a negative way? Absolutely. However, for those people who are saying, and AP, I promise you, I'm not picking on you. I just wanted to correct it because anytime that word is being used in a negative way, I tend to like, hold on, because I feel that, and I say I feel, but Moose could correct me, that I don't necessarily manipulate in with malice or to totally degrade somebody or anything. There's normally a goal, and I just want everybody on the same page, and they happen to not see the page that I want them to be on, and so I just have to change their view a little bit, make them look a certain kind of way, and they're like, oh, that does make sense. So just a quick vibe. That's it. That's my bad. I just wanted to.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. And I've come to appreciate it. You know, like it's funny. And shout out to Ashley Schuler. I know she's on here. We met briefly today, and I was telling her that I did this in a training last month when we were down in California, and I basically kind of like posed this principle, but as a question. Okay. And I said, what if you're wrong, but you're moving as if you were right? So you're moving with the arrogance and the confidence of it. Yo, I'm right.
Right.
I'm dope. I'm like, I know. But what if you're wrong?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of puts you in a like, whoa, okay, hold up a second. Am I being open-minded enough to hear the other person's point of view?
Yeah.
To, as a matter of fact, am I mature enough to hear something I don't agree with, yet still be able to listen and take some form of benefit from it without getting all emotionally hurt or upset by it or triggered by it, that I'm now responding to what I thought they said or what I don't like about what they said and no longer moving according to my plan, my character, or my integrity? Like there's a different type of discipline that goes into it. So again, when you go back to leverage results and not people, there's an inner work, like embedded into every single one of those principles is an inner work that you have to do for it to succeed in your business.
Yes.
So that's the part where, and again, slightly off topic, but I'm just saying, like, I can listen to what you're saying, and I've experienced it where it has yielded in positive results. Mm-hmm. But of course, the typical human bias, what we don't or what we can't do, we typically don't appreciate to some extent. All right. So for me, I've always kind of looked at it through that lens, like, man, I could see even some of the benefit from it.
Yeah.
But can I empower you instead? Can I get you to buy into the vision and the mission and the results? Not just me as a person. Like that I feel is other ways to look at leveraging results and not people.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's give you props on that. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
At this point, I'll be transparent, y'all. I think we covered more than 3, but I don't have an official number 3. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just be really honest.
Moo's been going in. Hello, everybody. If you've been blessed or you like what Moose has been saying on this live, because I get to sit back and just admire the smarts of Nicky and Moose. Okay, that's the smart one over there. That's the smart. So
yeah.
If you've been enjoying this, let me see some emojis, something. If you're watching the replay, just throw a comment in there. Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, no, I felt like it'd be important that I just be honest and say I don't have an official number 3, but I feel like we gave more than 3 ways to help you grow your business in 2022.
Okay.
And any thoughts though, Nix? I mean, what are you doing maybe from a branding side, if anything, or what do you think? Any like projections around possible trends, things that have been in the works, like low key that are fighting to get a potential top spot, but haven't officially taken off? And you're like, yo, I think in the new year, just given what's happening, I think this branding trend might take off, or this, idea or opportunity based on what the platforms are doing. This will get more daylight, so you can use that as a strategy to grow your business in the new year.
Well, I've been very verbal of figuring out how the metaverse is going to be around your brand. How are you diving into it? How are you utilizing it? There's a lot of things that people are saying now that it is the wave of where we're going to see a whole new bunch of billionaires and millionaires. And I said billionaires first, okay? Just because it's such untapped territory, right? So from a branding standpoint, how do we get our brands into the metaverse? Shout out to Snoop, and I really want to cover this for real, of how he is a part of Sandbox and how people are paying millions just to be a neighbor. Like in a virtual world, how you're looking at this digital land and you're seeing Atari, you're seeing Adidas, you're seeing Snoop's big mansion and having, parties in there. We just had New Year's in, I think, Decentraland. Like, there, more and more brands are coming into the metaverse, and we got to pay attention to it. From a reality standpoint, if we're talking about, content, and any like short form videos aren't going anywhere. They're staying. They're alive, and they're super trendy. So how are we associating short form videos into our, into our brand, into our content strategy in order to get the word out, So between those two things, that's really where I'm at with how do you stay relevant, how do you continue to grow? How do you stay on the top of the mind? It's like, how are we getting in the metaverse? How are we, like, even, okay, I know I can't, Kurt's going to kill me, so I'm not going to say too much. But I'm with Deeper Than the Brand, we're making a move to do the metaverse starting next week. So, you know, bringing in our community into a certain thing that I can't talk about until next week. You know what I mean? Because he'll kill me.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. He'll kill me. But, you know, granting, and I'm realizing how do I want to say this? The pandemic or wherever we are with this, it's just so up in the air. I just saw there's a new strand in France. You know what I mean?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. I saw it. Not literally saw it, like didn't put eyes on it, but you know. So how do you still give access to the people who want access to you and make it feel as it's not just a Zoom call? We're over that.
Yeah.
You know? And that's not even to say we may be over how they're doing the metaverse now in the year 2, 3. We don't know. But right now, it's something new. It's something that we got to, you know, experience. So, yeah, that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's funny because I definitely agree with you on the concept of we as people just simply being tired of Zoom. Like I've just have seen what some of these new experiences and even flirting back with some in-person meetings again, only if you're comfortable. I'm not suggesting this. I'm just saying my experience, how much more you get done and how much more ground you cover versus what you've been doing virtually. So I know there have been like some major debates around, do we go back to the office or do we stay virtual? Do we do this or we do that? And it's like, I get you. And I know there's a level of comfort and convenience that comes from working from home or running it, whatever. But if you can find ways to bring that in-person connection or elevate it in a virtual world, I think that is going to be a major blast. Because again, the progression and the speed that people are able to move at when they have that in-person feel, it goes to a whole new level. Let me ask you about this real quick before we close.
What's that?
If you, and I know this was like a bigger trend maybe a couple of years ago, or maybe like say 2 years ago, and it popped back up when Instagram failed for like however many hours some time back, couple months back. But for people who are new in business, recently started, thinking about starting or somewhat growing a business, and by business I also mean a brand, especially if you are online, right, wanting to do it in the virtual world or in digital space. At what point should they start thinking about getting their people off of Instagram or off of social media in general to connect with them on some form of different platform? Telegram, WhatsApp, I forget the other one there's another one. But those
Discord.
types of Discord, exactly. Like at what point should people start thinking about that? Is that something that's so important that we need to start doing it on day one? Or it's like, okay, nope, if you've just started somewhat growing, you have some time, but definitely add it to the list at some point. Because I know it's important, but I'm saying for people who are tuned in, how important?
It's extremely important. And thinking about it from a day one standpoint, you should have at least some type of system in place to get them off social media, right? Whether it's, your email list, whether it is, Discord, Telegram, Facebook group, Mighty Networks, it doesn't matter. Like, you want to get them from an uncontrolled environment to a controlled environment where you have communication with them at all times. Now, of course, based off budgets and things like that, it varies how you're going to do this. So I will recommend always starting with like an email list, right? You can control that, right? And I'll say the one that we've started with is ConvertKit. It's free, to a certain amount of subscribers, and this allows you to have landing pages. This allows you to email blast as many people if you have on your email list. You can sequence it out, all that great stuff, right? So ConvertKit is one, and you get that on nickyandmoose.com/email. I come with resources. Right? So that's one. If you're trying to put everybody in one central location for them to, bond, have like-minded people, then yeah, you could possibly, depending on your budget, go with free, which is like Facebook groups, Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp, things like that, right? You can do that. If you want to get more on I get what I paid for, you could look into Almighty Networks. The point is, I attracted you here, but I bring you into a central location for communication purposes as well as a backup. Because if something was to fail on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever, I still have means to sell something. I still have means to promote something. I still have means to at least check on you to nurture this particular relationship. So I say from day one, it's super important, because you don't want to, as you're building and building and building and building, you have to understand you have a cycle of followers. So meaning they're super interested, like they're brand new, they kind of like you, they're super interested, they're ready to go. And then if you don't have anything for them, they'll kind of veer off.
Yeah.
Right? And in the beginning stages, we sometimes don't feel like we have to give them anything, even if it is a simple join my email list, right? Even if it's that, we feel like, no, we don't have enough. And so they veer off. And then we're going through the cycle. When we're finally ready, we may be just dealing with the people who are just introduced to us. Because the people who've been rocking with us have already went to other places. So, yeah.
That's dope. Hey, somebody, you need to clip that. So you said, if you're growing a personal brand, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but if you're growing a personal brand, you need to take your audience from a controlled environment from an uncontrolled environment to a controlled environment to improve your communication.
Yep.
It's a bar, y'all. That's a bar. If you're growing a personal brand, take your audience from an uncontrolled environment to a controlled environment to improve your communication. That's good. That's good, Nick. Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I saw something on it today, and I was like, but when's the best time, or when is the right time to actually do that? So I like that you're saying, from day one, even if you feel like I don't have nothing to offer, like I don't have an official newsletter or an email campaign going out, just offer it, because you're right. Like, one person might see you, you never know what could happen with the platform, the algorithm, whatever it is, but it's important. Like, we have a saying with some of our coaches, we say, like, your clients might only need you one time in their life, but that one time can change their life, save their life. You feel me? Like, it's so critical. So yeah, no, that's good, Nix.
I try. Anyways, we are now going to jump right into the clip of Wall Street Trapper, how to create content the Wall Street Trapper way. So the second that this live is done, for those who aren't watching on YouTube, go on our YouTube channel, Nicky and Moose, right? And watch it with us. We'll be in the chat real quick, talking to everybody who's watching. We appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody who is watching this live and watching this replay. We appreciate it. Go check out the podcast, okay? Go check out the podcast. That's all I got to say. We've been blessed with it, okay? We're still taking notes on it. So definitely go check it out. Love you. We out. Moose, amazing conversation. Share this out with everybody.